Tonight on Week 9 of the Fox 14 Press Box, the Joplin Eagles hit the field for the first round of the playoffs, hosting Ray Peck in the Class 6 District 3 quarterfinals. Fresh off a big win over Seneca, the Nevada Tigers kick off districts at home against Harrisonville. The Neosho Wildcats host Willard in their playoff opener in a rematch from Week 1 of the regular season. In Kansas, the Gerard Trojans enter the playoffs with a perfect 8-0 record. They try to keep rolling in round 1 against Parsons. The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons get a home game to begin the 5A playoff bracket, hosting KC Washington. And in Oklahoma, Quapaw tries to push their winning streak to 5 games at home against Wyandotte. This is the 4 states' only 30-minute high school football highlight show. This is Week 9 of the Fox 14 Press Box, and it starts right now.
Fox 14's Press Box is sponsored by Missouri Southern State University, Roper Kia, CDL Electric, and Kramer's Quality Meats of Grove.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Week 9 of Press Box here on Fox 14. I'm Fox 14 Sports Director Jacob-Lenard. Joining me, like every Friday night, is dani-terzer.
This week is the opening week of the playoffs in Southeast Kansas and Southwest Missouri. We'll start with the Class 6 District 3 bracket. The Joplin Eagles host the Ray Peck Panthers.
Joplin finished the regular season with a 7-2 record. Their only 2 losses were to Carthage and Nixa. On the other side, Ray Peck, 5-4 coming into this one. Tied at 21 before half, Ray Peck on offense, Xander Dombrowski, top shelf to Jaden Riddell, gets for the score. That'll put him up 28-21. Start of the second half, Ray Peck back on offense. Dombrowski checks down to Thomas Fager. Check it out, makes a few defenders miss, showing off the balance, takes it in for the touchdown. Panthers now up 35-21. The Eagles trying to respond here. Following drive, Quinn Renfro shakes off a defender. Run it to the left, make it a 35-28 game. Not a lot of defense in this one, but you know, special teams, they had to have some fun too. Following kickoff, wide receiver Jaden Doss fields it for Ray Peck. Finds a little space and nobody's going to get him. Doss is gone all the way to the end zone. Joplin hung around, but Ray Peck ends the Eagles season 56-42. The Class 4 District 7, Carl Junction Bulldogs open the playoffs on the road against Grandview. CJ gets a big win tonight, taking this one 42-13. Carl Junction moves on to face top-seeded KC Center in the district semifinals next week. On the Kansas side, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons enter the playoffs tonight on a bit of a hot streak.
Pittsburgh went 5-3 in the regular season, and they've won 5 of their last 6 games. The Purple Dragons are at home tonight against KC Washington, hoping to stay rolling and earn a spot in the regional championship. Wildcats fumble on their first drive. Michael Fernandez jumps on it for the Pittsburgh turnover. That sets up the Purple Dragons nicely on the goal line now. Wyatt Rink pushes his way in. Pittsburgh takes an early 7-0 lead. KC Washington punts it away on their next drive. Connor Profit on the return. He has room on the near side, takes it down to about the 8-yard line, and it goes back to Profit to finish it off. He runs it in for the easy touchdown. Pittsburgh cruises by KC Washington 42-8.
The undefeated Chanute Blue Comets are at home tonight to open the 4A bracket. The Comets host KC Schlegel. Now that's Chanute winning another one in blowout fashion, 49-6. The Blue Comets are now 9-0. They'll move on to play for a regional championship next Friday.
Speaking of undefeated teams, the Gerard Trojans finished off a perfect regular season last week with a blowout win over Burlington.
It's the second straight undefeated regular season for Gerard, and also gave the Trojans back-to-back district titles. Now tonight, Trojans try to stay perfect in round 1, facing a pretty good Parsons team that was 5-3 in the regular season. Trojans strike first, and it's a big one. Luke Nigaman floats a perfect ball to Caleb Scales right in stride. Scales runs away from everybody for the 79-yard touchdown. They would add the 2-point conversion. So Gerard's up 8-0. The next Parsons possession, Gerard making a play on defense. Ethan Brooks there for the interception. Got a nice return too, all the way back to the Parsons 9-yard line. The very next play, Alex Kester takes the pitch, hole right up the middle for the 9-yard touchdown, and just like that, Gerard's up 14-0. And they get another in the first quarter here. Ethan Davidson takes it around the far side for the 5-yard touchdown. Trojans lead by 21 going to the second quarter. Now they're trying to add to that lead in the second, but the ball gets loose. Chris Beard scoops it up for Parsons. Nobody scores in the second, so it's still 21-0 Gerard at the break. Then first drive of the second half, Trojans straight down the field. Kester gets loose for his second touchdown of the night. That makes it 28-0. Gerard wins big, shutting out Parsons 35-0.
To Frontenac now, the Raiders host Iola this evening. The winner of this one gets Gerard next week in the regional championship. First quarter, Mario Mangini takes the handoff for Frontenac, comes to the near side. He's in for the touchdown, 8-0 Raiders. Mangini had himself a day in the second quarter. They go back to him. That gets the Raiders to double digits. But Mangini can do it through the air too. Cal Torlip winds up, goes deep. Mangini is there, little bobble, but he hauls it in, and he's gone for the touchdown. Frontenac gets the lead to 21. Iola won't accept a shutout tonight though. Trey Wilson up the middle, fights off a few defenders, eventually finds some space, and he's gone for the long touchdown. But in the end, Frontenac wins 35-15. They'll face Gerard next week. Coming up after the break, we have a lot more playoff action to get to, with highlights out of Galena and Nevada.
Plus, Neosho kicks off districts with a home game against Willard. Now, the last time those two met, absolutely zero defense. 151 points combined. Great for television. We're going to have those highlights and more after this.
The Neosho Wildcats open the Class 5 District 6 playoffs at home tonight against the Willard Tigers. These two teams met all the way back in Week 1. Neosho won a shootout 79-72. The Wildcats hoping to get by the Tigers again tonight and move on to the district semifinals. First quarter, pass to Isaiah Green, but it's intercepted by the Tigers. Richard Moore returns it to the 40-yard line. Now on offense, Russell Roten goes to the air, finds an open Timmy Rubble for the first touchdown of the game. 7-0 Willard. Back to Neosho. Hughes fakes a pass, tricks the camera too. He finds Green. Green does the rest. He's in for a touchdown. Wildcats go for 2. Jared Seiler gets it. Seiler tops 2,000 rushing yards on the season tonight. Neosho leads 8-7. Later, Roten looks to pass, finds his man in the end zone. Willard back on top, 14-8. Roten again, this time hands it off to Gary Walker. He has an opening on the far side, 28-15 Willard after 1. And Willard continues their big first half here. Roten keeps it himself all the way in. 35 points in the first half for Willard. The Tigers hold on to beat Neosho tonight, 43-29. They'll face Carthage in the district semifinals next week.
Webb City fans, listen up. This one's for you. Elsewhere in the Class 5 District 6 bracket, Republic beats Parkview 52-8, so Republic will come to Webb City next Friday to face the Cardinals in the district semifinals.
The East Newton Patriots open the Class 2 District 4 playoffs tonight on the road against Hollister. The winner of this one faces number 1 seeded Seneca next week, and that winner is Hollister, 37-7.
The Nevada Tigers closed out the regular season with a huge win last week, beating undefeated Seneca 49-14. With that win, the Tigers head into the postseason with a 7-2 overall record. And that's good enough to get Nevada a home game to kick off the playoffs. Tigers host Harrisonville tonight in round 1. First quarter, heard this dude's name before, handoff goes to Avius Stedman. Gets around the outside, and you know he's fast. Blows by everybody. 55-yard touchdown there for Nevada. To the second quarter now. Wildcats look for a receiver downfield, but it's bobbled into the hands of Bryce Budd. He takes off, tons of space. Goes 35 yards before he's eventually taken down. Then, Nevada ball, Jordan Johnson takes it to the far side. Slips by the defenders and in for the score. That puts the Tigers up 21-7 in the second. Nevada goes on to win it 42-21. Class 4 District 6 here. Monette at Logan Rogersville. The winner gets top-seeded West Plains next week. Cubs strike first after an interception. They're in business. Marcus Young on the pitch through the defense for a first down. That sets up this right back to him on the option from David Madrid. Young is in for 6. Monette out to the early 7-0 lead. But the Wildcats respond. They're keeping it on the ground. Ball pops out, but Keegan Daniels there to snag it midair. His efforts keep the drive alive. Luke Hauer with a good hard-nosed running here. He would score on the drive to tie the game up at 7. In the end, it's Monette winning by 14, 36-22.
Staying in Class 4 District 6, McDonald County is on the road against Marshfield in a Big 8 rematch from the regular season. Look at this defensive battle, but McDonald County holds on 7-6. They will face Bolivar in the district semifinals next week.
It's like a baseball or softball score. Games like that are fun to watch if you're a fan. Terrible for TV for these purposes right here. Coming up after the break, the red-hot Galena Bulldogs open the 3A playoffs at home against Anderson County, and a little bit later, we'll head to Oklahoma with highlights out of Commerce and Quapaw. First, though, here are some more playoff scores out of Southwest Missouri.
The Galena Bulldogs are one of the hottest teams in the area heading into the playoffs. Galena is 6-2 so far this season, and they enter the 3A playoffs on a 5-game winning streak. The Bulldogs host Anderson County in the first round tonight. The winner advances to the round of 16. Galena adds to their lead here in the third. Dawson Mooney fights his way into the end zone. It's 30-6 Bulldogs. Later, Galena with the ball again. Look at this run by Tyler Little. Hurdles a guy, slips away, 41-yard pickup. But the Bulldogs go on to turn the ball over. To the fourth now. Mooney on the far side. Weaves in and out. He gets by everybody for the touchdown. Galena goes for 2. Zane Turner finds a wide open Tyson Garrison. All Galena tonight. Bulldogs win 38-13 to move on to the regional round of the 3A playoffs. Galena plays the winner of this one next Friday. Columbus fresh off a big win over Parsons, trying for another one on the road against Burlington. The Titans live to play another week, beating the Wildcats 46-8. So it will be Columbus at Galena for a regional title next week.
Galena's really good, but I don't want to see Columbus right now. They've figured it out the last 2 weeks. Good for them. To some 8-player action, the St. Paul Indians with a tough draw to begin the playoffs. They hit the road, face undefeated Canton Galva in the first round. Eagles too much for St. Paul tonight, 60-0. St. Paul ends the season with a 4-5 overall record. Flashing back to some Thursday night playoff action in southeast Kansas, the Colgan Panthers on a roll entering the postseason. Colgan was 7-1 in the regular season, with their only loss coming against undefeated Gerard. The Panthers also on a 6-game winning streak entering the 1A playoffs. They hit the field against Central Heights in round 1. The Vikings fake a punt on 4th and 1 on their first possession. Brody Canar there to stop it. Colgan takes over possession. The very next play, Tucker Harrell fakes the give, keeps it, and takes off. Kind of just coasts in there for the 29-yard touchdown. Colgan goes up 7-0 early. The Vikings in Colgan territory after a fumble on a punt return, but the Panthers get it right back. It's Connor Van Beesler with the interception. He brings it out of the end zone. The Panthers drive straight down the field after that, and then again, it's Harrell keeping it and basically just walking into the end zone there. Colgan up 14-0 after the first. So we go to the second quarter now. Panthers still rolling. Harrell gives it off to Keegan Fleming. Look at the stiff arm here. Finds his way around the edge all the way in for the 32-yard touchdown. Colgan wins, and it's a shutout. Final score, 56-0.
In Oswego, big game for the Indians to open the postseason against the Madison Bulldogs. First drive for Oswego, Jake Hutchinson takes the snap, goes right up the middle for the short touchdown. Madison quickly answers to tie it at 6, so the Indians try and take back the lead here. This time, Levi George barrels into the end zone. In the second, it's all tied up once again. Hayden Helm flips it out to Bryson Turner. He makes a few guys miss and scores. Madison on top 22-14. Then the Bulldogs start to pull away. Coming out of the half, Turner slips through traffic. He takes it all the way. Madison picks up the big road win 56-32 over Oswego.
Well, we still got a lot of stuff to get to here on Press Box. After the break, we'll have highlights out of Quapaw and Commerce. Also, you get a chance to vote for this week's Performance of the Week. As we get to the break, though, here are some more first-round playoff scores out of Southeast Kansas.
Welcome back to our final segment here on Press Box. It's now time to get to Oklahoma. We'll start with the Quapaw Wildcats.
I've pretty much said this every week, but this is one of my favorite teams to watch. Quapaw scoring 36 points per game. They're 7-1. They've won 4 straight coming into the night. And the Wildcats try to stay rolling with a home game against district rival Wyandotte. Third play of the game, Wyandotte keeping it on the ground. They stripped by Quapaw's Deacon Schaap. Zane Stand with the recovery. Takes it all the way down the sideline to the house. 7-0 Wildcats with that. Only 59 seconds into the game. Quapaw kicking off. Going for a little trickery here. Ball would bounce off a Wyandotte player. Wildcats recover. So they got great field position. Now a few plays later, Stetson MacArthur with the quick handoff. Busts through the outside, taking it right past the defense. Eventually, all the way into the end zone. Wildcats on a roll early in this one. It's 13-0. Wyandotte goes 3 and out. Quapaw with the ball again. Zane Stand having a nice night so far. Finds the sideline down to the Bears 10. Next play, Kyle Forbes gets his number called. Nice run, finds pay dirt. It's 19-0 Wildcats. At that point, Quapaw rolls easy in this one. Big win over Wyandotte, 46-7. The Grove Ridge Runners, they're 8-0 after a big win over Collinsville last week. Tonight, Grove goes on the road, wins another one, beating Pryor 72-7. Ridge Runners now 9-0. They'll return home for the regular season finale next week, hosting Bishop Kelly.
The Miami War Dogs are on the road tonight against the Cleveland Tigers. Miami cruises this evening 35-7. The War Dogs are now 6-3 this year. They've earned a spot in the playoffs for the first time in more than a decade. Miami wraps up the regular season next week at home against Wagner. In Commerce tonight, the Tigers try for their third straight win against the Ketchum Warriors, picking this one up in the second. Tigers up 7-6. Commerce with the ball. Austin Lake airs it out to Corbin Cunliffe. He comes down with it and gets in the end zone. 14-6 Tigers now. Ketchum on offense. Justin Johnson's pass gets tipped in the air. Wait for it. Here we go. Tipped in the air. Daniel Nino comes up with the interception, sets up the Tigers with great field position. Cunliffe on the carry again. Shakes off a few defenders. He gets pushed out at the Ketchum 20. A few plays later, Shane Staley with the handoff takes this one in easy from 6 yards out. 21-6 Commerce. Tigers again with the ball after a muffed punt. Lake calls his own number, takes this one in from 8 yards away. 28-6 Commerce at this point. Tigers make it look easy tonight. 55-24 the final.
Little rivalry game here between Afton and Fairland tonight. It's actually the second time these two teams have played this season. Fairland won the first one back in week 1. They win this one tonight as well, 44-15. Owls are now 5-4 this season and will be on the road against Ketchum next Friday.
We've got a couple more things to get to before we go. First, it's time for our nominees for Performance of the Week.
Now, we do this at the end of every show on Friday nights. We give you 3 options for the Performance of the Week. You go vote. Then Monday we'll announce the winner. Now, here are the nominees this week. First, Neosho High School running back Jared Seiler tops 2,000 rushing yards for the season tonight. Then Mario Mangini for Frontenac, 5 touchdowns against Iola, 2 rushing, 3 receiving. Finally, the Miami War Dogs. We just told you about them. They earned their first playoff spot tonight for the first time in more than a decade. To vote, it's really easy. All you got to do, go to koamnewsnow.com/vote, click on who you want to vote for, and that is all. We'll keep the poll open until 9 p.m. on Sunday night.
All right, quick reminder for local college football tomorrow. Both Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern are on the road in Week 9 of the MIAA season. The Lions face the Missouri Western Griffins at 1 o'clock. Southern tries to avoid a 3-game losing streak after falling to Central Missouri and Emporia State the last 2 weeks. As for Pittsburgh State, they aim to stay undefeated in Week 9 on the road against Central Oklahoma. That game will kick off at 2 p.m. That's all the time we have here tonight. If you missed anything, we'll have all of our highlights posted shortly to the sports page at koamnewsnow.com, on the KOAM Plus app, and our YouTube page.
You can also check out a complete replay of the show on Sunday afternoon at 12:30 on the 4-State CW. Now that's it for us. Join us right back here next week for regional championships in Kansas, district semifinals in Missouri. For now, though, we are out of here. Thanks for staying up late with us. We'll see you right back here next week.